It's not that you're a bad manifester, it's just that you don't trust yourself to be a good manifester. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Lexi, and I'm just back with some gel in my hair. Oh my gosh, embarrassing. But I'm back with another video, and I just wanted to talk about manifesting. And because I recently just had a job loss, and it's really been triggering me. It's been triggering a lot of my anxious attachment style, specifically my anxious attachment style. And I was just thinking how closely related our nervous system and our nervous system regulation is tied into our manifestations coming about. So if you want to know all about that, make sure you get your ass in a seat and sit down and let's have a chat. And also, this is a free flowing channel. So if you have any comments, concerns, doubts, please let me know in the comments below. We can have a difference of opinion. I'm trying to see. Okay, this lighting is cute. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you guys think about this. But I really was exploring this on my job hunt journey, and I just had so many analogies that I could use and examples that I think will widely support my claims. Okay. So let me cook. Okay. So, when you're manifesting something specific, let's say for me, manifesting a job that pays well, makes me feel good, makes me feel appreciated, right? So, when you're job hunting, it's like you get bombarded. When you apply, it's like you're very calm, you're good, you're like, okay, I got this, it's feeling good. And then all of a sudden, you start receiving some rejection notices, and you're like, okay, all right, this is whatever. You ignore it, you continue to let it roll on, and then you keep applying. You're still optimistic. You're like, okay, that's fine. Like those are more for me anyway. Good riddance. So you're applying, you're applying, and then you get more rejection notices, and you're just like, it's a it's a little hot in here. Anybody else hot? And you're like, okay, wipe that dirt off the shoulder. You kind of just like, okay, interesting, gotcha. And you continue your job search, you continue to hunt, you continue to apply, and you're getting more rejection. And you're like, what is going on? I thought I was the operator of my universe. I thought that I say what I want and how what I want goes, right? And it's almost like a test that we receive when we are going after something that we want. Like we get a little bit of rejection. Like, are you sure you want this thing? Because truly what we are searching for is closely identified within us, right? When we want something, we want it to validate our identity at that certain stage, right? When we're looking for jobs and the job says you have to have this quality, you have to have these credentials, you have to have this amount of schooling, this amount of experience. And if this is not closely aligned to your identity, what you believe is true about about your identity and what you identify as, you're not going to apply for it. You're not going to seek out for it. You're like, oh, I'm not qualified enough for this, right? But then let's say that you're just like, oh, I'm going to try for it. I'm going to try and see if we're just going to see what happens. And you apply. You're like, okay, let's see, whatever. You just let some time pass by, you get that rejection letter. You're like, whatever. Right. But if you didn't take that first step to even try to see if this thing could even allow you to even be considered for the opportunity, would you have gone for it? Right. But if you take a small step of, let's just try this thing out, if we get rejected, okay, cool. Maybe we try again. Maybe we try a different alternative. Maybe we try something else. But what we have manifested has stayed the same. I am worthy of a job that pays X amount in this area, in this location, right? So when we try for things and we receive rejection, it's only a mere of reflection of the doubts that we have in our head, right? Even if you apply for something, let's say you apply for the position of a CEO and you're just like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. And you truly believe in your mind that you can do this position. You're going to get it regardless. You're going to go for it regardless. The circumstance does not matter. It does not matter the credentials, right? And there's going to be a review process to see if you're fitting for that position. But what truly matters is the confidence that you have in yourself and the validation that you have in yourself to say I can even I this just proves that I can go after anything, right? Even in the face of rejection, even in the face of no's, even in the face of uncertainty, you truly know what you are manifesting is going to come in. That's when your faith needs to kick in. The faith that you have within yourself, the faith that you have within your desires that is attached to your identity. You're like, "Oh, this doesn't matter. What I'm looking at, what I'm receiving, it doesn't align with me. That doesn't align with me because that is not a dictation. That is not an indication of my identity, right? Okay. And this is what it's key factor is how we regulate ourselves in the face of rejection, in the face of uncertainty, in the face of receiving no's and having doors closed, right? Having nothing, right? It's all about what we perceive is our value, not the thing itself is perceiving our value. It's what we value over here. And, I was even thinking today that I was thinking a lot because I just had some time to just sit and reflect now that I have more free time. And I was just like, the things that we desire it's never truly about the things that we desire, right? Like we want certain things, we want the accolades, we want the partner, we want the job, right? But those are never the things that we truly want. We want the comfort that comes with those things. We want the stability that comes with those things. We want the validation that comes with those things, right? And even I was thinking, I'm like, everything is a reflection of our mind and our mind state. So when we feel like we're not getting anything, it's because our mind is perceiving nothing moving. But when we look out and we see, oh no, I'm still receiving. I'm still bringing a lot into my reality. I'm still abundant in the face of having nothing. But what we tell ourselves and what we believe to be true, not what we see to be true. It's what we believe to be true. And, this is super, super closely tied with our nervous system and our attachment style. Are we securely attached to ourselves and to our desires and what we are assured that we can manifest? Or are we avoidant about it? Are we anxious about it? Right. And for my case, are we anxious and avoidant about it? Like I realized that I was applying for jobs and I was getting to a point where my anxious attachment was like really popping out because I'm like, okay, I'm doing all these applications, I'm tweaking my resume, I'm doing all these things. What's going on? Like that frantic energy was like creeping in. And I noticed how debilitating that is because you're spending so much thought energy thinking of like the worst case scenario, thinking about the uncertainty, thinking about the lack that is present or that we perceive as present, right? Instead of thinking and going back into our own validation system and saying, "Nope, I'm fine. I'm fine." That's when we secure ourselves. That's when we regulate ourselves. That when we find ourselves getting really anxious and getting really frantic and needy and really desperate, like, okay, I just have to have this thing. I need to go. I have to go. That's when we have to have this self-awareness to say, "Oh, I'm spiraling. Let me calm down. Let me go back. Let me start at stage 1. What was I even spiraling about? Oh, okay, I'm spiraling because I want this job, right? You're going to get a job and it's like you start to comfort your own anxiety. You start to comfort your own anxious feelings. You start to comfort that that you have to that thing. And it's like the more that we allow ourselves to come down and to comfort ourselves and to ground ourselves and to root ourselves in our security, that's when the thing comes in. And we're like, okay. But honestly, I've noticed that my fearful avoidant will come in because it's like when that thing is gone, you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, where is this thing? Where's this thing? But then let's say like somebody reaches out, a recruiter reaches out, and they're like, hey, I'd like to schedule an interview. Then I'm like, whatever. Like, I guess I have to do this, whatever. Um, and that's not the way to necessarily go about it, right? Because it's like you have to be secure in all aspects, not just secure when the thing is there, but also secure when the thing is not there. Secure in the now. Be secure with who you are and your circumstances right now. But that stems back to our attachment style, which then stems back to how are we regulating our nervous system in the face of uncertainty? How are we regulating when our mind just spins and our mind just goes to the different outcomes and the different scenarios that haven't even happened yet, that we don't know, necessarily end goal with this thing that we're desiring, but we know that we're going to get it. We know that it's here. We know that this thing is with us. It's within us. Our desire is a part of us, right? But we just can't see it yet. It hasn't materialized because it's in the 3D, in this earthly realm. But in the 5D, with the knowing, the faith that we have in that knowing is there. So whenever, like, for example, like 2 days ago, I was spiraling bad, and I know a lot of manifestation coaches talk about, you know, when you spiral and, like, you push your desire away even more, and I think, like, yes, in a certain extent, yes, but I think that you're human. You're human, especially if you are still learning about self regulation, if you're learning about your attachment style, you're learning about manifestation, you're neurodivergent, you're a very logical person, very logic minded person. When it comes to these concepts of being still and allowing and knowing that this thing is coming in, this thing is here, right? It's not coming in from anywhere. It's you, it's a part of you, right? It's this love of yourself and this love of trusting yourself and trusting your ability to manifest. That's when it comes in. Like, faith has been something I really, really, really struggled with. Like, faith in myself, faith in my ability to create, faith in my ability to manifest, faith in my ability to pull things in. But in order to have faith, that's when you're tested. That's when you're tested on your own security within yourself to understand these concepts and to let them play out in real time. If you just think about these concepts, if you don't, have any experience in actually going about it in a different way, making that intentional change to have an alternative approach, that's how you get better at it. That's how you become more secure in it, right? Like for me, I'll even go on another tangent. Um, I recently like reached out to somebody, like a friend, and I was like, oh, let me just reach out to this person. Like I haven't heard from them. And I didn't hear anything from them. And so I let myself, I didn't want to be like, oh, something I did, right? With that anxiously leaning side. It sometimes what we perceive to be something is in fact nothing. It's just this person didn't reach out. It's not anything you did badly. It's not you being a bad person. It's not you being inherently broken. It's not you, being a bad person. It's just that this person didn't reach out. Maybe they just were busy. Maybe they had other things going on. Maybe they changed their number. All these possibilities. But instead of focusing on the worst case scenario, putting you down, just be neutral. Oh, okay. This person has reached out, whatever. And that's how we build this bandwidth with ourselves to withstand rejection, to withstand the no's and the naysayers and the negativity that is placed on us and and projected onto us. We'll just say, no, I know who I am. No, this is not a part of me. No, this is not true. This is not a part of my story. That's just not for me. Okay, cool. Even when it comes to relationships, when like, for example, I was super, super nervous to reach out to this person. Sorry, I'm just looking at my hair. Just because it's like not really dry. So I'm like, wait. But I was really scared to reach out to this particular person, and I was like, "I'm scared of being rejected," right? But that comes from a core wound that comes up a lot when somebody leans a little bit more anxious. They're like, "Oh, I don't wanna be abandoned. I don't want to somebody to come to me and realize that I'm broken and realize that I'm not enough and leave me," right? But we have to allow ourselves to be rejected. We have to allow ourselves to be abandoned, to be like, "Oh, okay. I'm fine. I'm fine with this." It was never about attaching our value to a particular story. It was just about letting things be as they are, letting things play out, letting whatever the situation is, that's just what it is, you know? If somebody doesn't wanna reach out, they don't wanna reach out. It's not anything about us. Don't focus and don't let our mind spin and have all these scenarios, and let our mind make those connections. "Oh, remember that one time in childhood when this happened, you rejected, so you're never gonna face" don't let your mind go to that point, because when you let your mind ruminate, that's when you allow it to have power over you. You have power over your mind. You have power. This is your domain, right? This is your world. You say what goes. You call the shots. If someone is not showing up in the way that you want them to show up, pull back. Pull back. Don't engage. Have a conversation. If they're still not willing to show up in the way that you need them to show up, thank you for your time. Move on. Like for your manifestations, like I'm manifesting an apartment. Am I going to be spiraling thinking that I'm never going to, get out of where I'm at? No. I'm going to say, "Okay, I'm getting an apartment." That's just it. What I'm getting an apartment. Yeah, I have an apartment. Yep, I have an apartment. And it's so funny because I was like when you have that sense of calm and that sense of ease, that's when things start to penetrate your auric field into your physical reality. When you're like, "Okay, this is just what it is." And it's so funny because I was like, "Oh, I have an apartment, I have a new apartment." And then I got a notification for some apartments in my city. And I looked at them and they were expensive. I was like, "Girl, anyway, 1800 for a studio? No." But I said, "Hey, that's a key indication that my manifestation is coming." Instead of hooking on to the first thing that comes to me, I say, "This isn't exactly how I wanted it. This isn't exactly what I wanted for an apartment. No, thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Push it on." And then I still continue to affirm that I have an apartment, I have an apartment, I have an apartment until I get that inkling to look and to view and to receive notification about an apartment that I actually like, that actually aligns with me. It's like it's okay to wait sometimes. It's okay to wait. And in that waiting period, you know, I realized like I was like somebody that was like, "Oh, I'm so patient. I just have all the patience in the world." But really, I had patience for the people, for the wrong type of people. But when you have patience, when you're looking to have patience for yourself, it's like we kind of get antsy. We kind of get a little, we start looking around like, "Okay, what's going on?" But that's the test. That's the test. And when you pass the test, you get your rewards, right? And then you get to manifest more. Like you get to have fun with it. You get to just like play and see. Manifestation should be fun. It should be light, because it's you. It's you interacting with you. It's you in interacting with the mind. It's you interacting with did y'all hear my stomach? You interacting with the beliefs that you have about yourself. And it's fun. It should be light. You know, um, like for me, I think for me, my biggest struggle was having to to be consistent and affirm. And I know there's a lot of coaches out there that's like affirm, 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 affirm. Every day of our lives, we're not going to be busy affirming. It's just not realistic. Like we have other things to do. But when we start to get down, I like to just let myself spiral. I like to let myself go through the whirlwind of emotions. But I have my tools. I have my self regulation to say, "Hey, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Girl, what the heck? I understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and I'm going to allow myself to feel this emotion. I'm going to allow myself to feel sad and to feel down so that I can lift myself back up and remember who I am and how powerful I am, right? And the reason why I'm doing the thing that I'm doing." and how amazing it feels to have my manifestation already here, right? Get into that feeling. Get into because really it's like we have this mind body connection, and when we're anxious and we're feeling out of control, that's when we hop into the mind. That's when we find refuge in our mind, and then we're in our mind trying to find all these dendrites and all these synapses that are trying to validate how we feel, and we're going in a loop and a loop and a loop. But when we then calm our mind, we have our mindful techniques, we can then slowly get back into our body. And when a key indicator for me when I'm back in my body is like I'll start to feel my stomach rumble, and not just because I'm hungry right now, but I'll start to feel my stomach. I start to feel the sensations in my body. Then I realize, okay, I'm in my body, right? I'm safe. Know that you are safe. Know when you are in your body, you are okay. You don't have to run from your body. Child is 333. Clock it. You don't have to run from your body. Your body is here for you. It's your refuge. It's here to comfort you and for you to find your home in. And it's okay just to have a moment and notice how things start to shake and how it start to pull in when you just calm your mind, when you just calm down. Like it's so weird. I've started to do like little experiments where I won't be thinking about anything, like, I won't be letting my mind race, I just am. I'm just being still, and even today, I was being very still, I wasn't trying to come up with any ideas, but I just had ideas coming to me left and right, and when we are still, that's when we can receive downloads, that's when we can receive ideas, but if we're constantly in this frantic energy, and we're constantly doubting ourselves, and the doubt that we're experiencing is being replicated in our lives in real time, that's when we just have to be like, oh snap, I'm spiraling. Oh snap, I'm spiraling. Let me do my regulation. Let me calm down. What am I feeling like? Am I feeling needy? Am I feeling desperate? Okay, let me do all the things I need to get back secure. And don't be scared of rejection. Rejection is honestly healthy for us to experience rejection. You know, um, even people that you perceive have it all together. We've all experienced our own healthy dose of rejection, and it's to get our ego in check. We don't want the ego running things all over. We want us to be in control. Like the ego is there to protect us, but the ego, it's like, okay, girl, you did your part. I got this. We're safe. We're here. Thank you for what you've done, but I got this. Okay. But that is like the main thing that's really been helping me. And also when you're on this journey, like keep yourself busy. You don't have to be doing things 24/7, but find something that you love to do. Get yourself back in that positive vibration and that positive energy. And, when things come, see how it is, play it out. Don't be too logical about it. Let things play out. And as they play out, use your discernment to make the decision that you need for yourself, you know? And, for my avoidant girlies, when the thing comes and you're like, I don't want it anymore, just be like, okay, I've been manifesting it and assure yourself that no, I'm deserving of this thing. I'm worthy of this thing. I'm worthy of this desire. I'm worthy of this job. I'm worthy of this location. And not to put that thing on a pedestal, but to just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. And that's just how it has to be. Period. Right. And I've been really trying not to pedestalize my certain desires because I don't want to get into that mode of, idol worship, especially because if we're not pedestalizing this thing, we're pedestalizing something else. Put yourself on a pedestal. Know that you are powerful enough to manifest. Know that you are powerful enough to change your circumstance. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you making that step, making that intention to be like, hey, I am new. I am a different person. I am this identity. I am somebody that manifests things fast. I'm somebody that is a money magnet, right? And even if it doesn't come to you in a certain time frame, still affirm yourself to be that. Don't worry about a circumstance that hasn't happened yet. Have fun. Take care of yourself and calm down, child. Let me go eat something, y'all, before my stomach touch my back for real. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I was kind of preaching in the middle of it. I was like, wait a second. And but yeah, you guys, I really hope that y'all are enjoying yourselves. I really hope that y'all enjoyed my fro. Hopefully she gets together and she can just stay in this shape. I didn't use too much gel this time, so I hope it just doesn't get too flaky. That's why I have a little pimple. But yeah, you guys, that's it from your girl Lex. So let me know if that helped you at all. Let me know if you guys like my rambling, if it was too much. I'm on this journey with you guys, and it's not for the weak, but we're not weak either. So we're not strong. But we're not weak either. We're strong, right? But we also need to tend to ourselves because life's for all of us. And especially in this day and age, it gets super, super confusing. There's so many techniques and methods that you want to go about, but the true method you need is just knowing and just believing in your knowing and believing in yourself and believing in your manifestations and believing your ability. You don't have to, you know, be a millionaire to be a master manifester. Start small, and you gain your confidence that way. But you have to start. You have to start. You can't rely on your circumstances, or you can't rely on the past and the hurt and the trauma and the guilt. We can't do it. We're still enough, even with all of that. Even with all of that, we're still enough. Even with all of the things that we've been through, we're still not broken. And that's a beautiful realization. And you have to realize that today. Okay, y'all? Well, thank you guys so much. Have a great one. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.